Summer is almost here, and you still can't see your abs. The truth is, getting that aesthetic 10% body fat look is not as easy as the fitness industry keeps telling you. It's a hard and demanding process, but that doesn't mean we can't make it easier, or at least less painful. I spent years doing it the hard way, starving myself, losing muscle, rebounding, before I figured out what actually works and how to make this process much more tolerable. And here's what most people miss. The reason they're stuck has less to do with fat loss itself and more to do with something they don't even realize is holding them back. So in today's video, I'm going to show you 7 tips that will make this journey significantly easier, helping you finally look lean in photos, feel confident without a shirt, and avoid unnecessary suffering. But before we dive into that, you need to know this. The basics need to be in place. If you're not in a caloric deficit, sleeping well, and training consistently, then there's no journey to begin with. Those are non-negotiables. That's the foundation. So assuming you have those dialed in, let's get into the first tip. Tip number 1, eat water. And no, I don't mean just drinking more water. I mean eating it. Most people think fat loss is about eating less. And technically, yes, you need a caloric deficit. But here's what they miss. You can eat more and still lose fat if you choose the right foods. Fruits with high water content, watermelon, strawberries, oranges, apples, take up a lot of space in your stomach. They're physically large but calorically small. So your body gets the signal that you're full. The satiety hormones kick in, but you've barely consumed any calories. Compare that to calorie-dense foods. A handful of nuts can be 300 calories and you're still hungry 10 minutes later. But a huge bowl of watermelon? Maybe 100 calories and you're stuffed. And here's the bonus. These foods are loaded with micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, fiber, things your body actually needs to function well, especially when you're in a deficit. Plus, they satisfy sugar cravings naturally. Instead of fighting the urge for something sweet and caving later with junk, eat a bowl of strawberries or an apple. You get the sweetness, the volume, and none of the crash. This is called volumetrics, and it's one of the easiest ways to stay in a deficit without feeling like you're starving. So instead of obsessing over eating less, just eat your water. Fill your plate with high-volume, low-calorie foods, and hunger becomes a lot easier to manage. Now, managing hunger is one part of the equation, but if you want to actually burn fat while preserving muscle, you need to pair that with the right kind of cardio, and that's where the good old walk comes in. Walking, more specifically brisk walking, is one of the smartest tools you can use. In this state, you're performing low-intensity movement where your heart rate is elevated, but you can still hold a conversation. At this intensity, your body relies more on fat as a fuel source, while sparing more muscle glycogen. This helps you train harder, recover better, and maintain performance in the gym. And the best part is, walking creates far less systemic stress than intense cardio. While harder sessions can significantly raise fatigue and cortisol, brisk walking is much easier to recover from and can even help lower stress levels, especially when done outdoors. You burn calories, promote fat oxidation, reduce stress, and preserve more energy for weight training. It's basically you telling your body, shred all the fat and keep the muscle. So instead of grinding yourself down with brutal cardio sessions, just go for a walk. Aim for about an hour per session, 3 to 5 times a week. Ideally at a separate time from your weight training. And before we go any further, we need to talk about something most people get wrong. And it's not about what you eat or how you train. It's about how you see yourself. Tip number 3, figure out your start point. Understanding where you actually are is the difference between having a strategy and wandering in the dark. If you don't know your real body fat percentage, you can't choose the right approach. You can't set realistic expectations. You can't know how aggressive your deficit needs to be, or how long the process will actually take. And here's the problem. Most people think they're leaner than they actually are. So while everyone else is guessing, if you know exactly where you stand, you're already steps ahead. You know what actually needs to be done instead of hoping you're close. Here's how to figure it out properly. The most accurate way is to work with a professional, a nutritionist, a coach, someone who's done this hundreds of times. They can assess your body fat percentage and give you a realistic starting point. If you don't have access to that, you can do it yourself. Take progress photos from the front, side, and back in consistent lighting. Then compare them to reference images online of actual body fat percentages. You need to be careful though, because you look at yourself in the mirror every day, you might still underestimate where you are. And here's the thing, every body carries fat differently. Some people store more in their lower abs and love handles, others hold it in their chest and face. Two people at the same body fat percentage can look completely different. So comparing yourself to a single reference photo online isn't enough. You need to look at multiple examples, understand how your body specifically stores fat, and be brutally honest with yourself about what you're seeing. Here's why this matters. Let's say you think you're at 10% body fat, but you still don't have that sharp aesthetic look you see on the guys you follow. So you assume the problem is lack of muscle, and you decide to bulk. But in reality, you're not at 10%, but closer to 15%. And now you're bulking from a body fat percentage that's already too high. Just like that, you've fallen into your own trap. A few weeks go by, you gain some weight, but instead of looking better, you just look softer. More body fat, more frustration, and nowhere near the physique you actually want. Then you need to cut again, and the cycle goes on while you never reach the desired result. Year after year, stuck in the same loop. You don't want to be that person, right? So commit to this. Know your real start point. Set your strategy based on reality, not perception. Already feels easier, right? After all the work you've been doing, you deserve a reward. Just one cheat meal won't make a difference. It's a glycogen restore anyway. You'll come back stronger, right? Maybe you're just too tired, mentally, physically. Rough day at work, huh? Or school is consuming you. Maybe it's too hard for you to bear. Or maybe the real question is, do you really want it bad enough? Because what meal could possibly taste as good as looking in the mirror and realizing you reached your goal, your dream? Let that sink in, because what comes next is actually a mistake you've been conditioned to make by everyone around you. Tip number 4, balance. Everywhere you look, people preach moderation. The 80-20 rule. Don't be too strict. And the moment you take your goal seriously, you get labeled obsessive or extreme. It sounds mature, it sounds reasonable, it sounds sustainable. But in reality, it becomes an excuse for half effort. Here's the truth no one says. Balance is just a polished excuse for inconsistency. Why should it be okay to eat garbage sometimes? Why should you take it easier on your goals? Why would you sit still instead of chasing your dreams as hard as you possibly can? People love balance because balance feels safe. It lets you stay comfortable while convincing yourself you're still making progress. If you want results that most people never achieve, you cannot operate like most people do. When it comes to your goals and dreams, you should always go all in. You need commitment, urgency, and a standard that doesn't bend. You may have heard the phrase, burn the boats. This is what you need to do. You need to remove the easy escape routes, stop negotiating with yourself. Let people think you're crazy or obsessive. You owe them nothing. They judge you because they're insecure about the fact that you're doing your best while they don't have the discipline to do the same. And deep down they know that, so their response is to try to bring you down. Next on the list, we need to address one more mistake that quietly ruins progress for a lot of people. It looks harmless, it sounds smart, and most people consume it daily without a second thought. Tip number 5, avoid the 0 calories trap. The fitness industry has convinced you that you can have it all. 0-calorie sodas, energy drinks, artificial sweeteners in everything. They tell you it's fine because 0 calories means it won't affect fat loss. But here's what they don't tell you. Those 0-calorie products destroy your gut health, mess with your insulin response, and spike your cravings later, keeping you addicted to hyper-sweet tastes. You drink a Diet Coke thinking it means nothing, but all those chemicals create a mess inside your body. And the worst part? You think you're doing the right thing because the label says 0. Now look, I could sit here and tell you to buy this garbage. That would probably get me more views. But I'd rather tell you the truth. The kind of truth a real friend tells you, even when it's not what you want to hear. So stop destroying your health with these things, man. Cut it all. This false shortcut being sold to you is not what will make the process easier. Eating real food that nourishes you and supports your body is. Which brings us to the next tip. Tip number 6. Prioritize hormonal function. When most people think about fat loss, they reduce it to simple math. Calories in, calories out. But your body is more than a calculator. It's a hormonal and biological system. If your hormones are optimized, getting lean becomes easier and healthier. Testosterone, insulin sensitivity, thyroid function, and cortisol balance all affect how well you burn fat, preserve muscle, and recover. That's why one of the biggest mistakes people make is cutting fats too low and obsessing only over macros. The modern bodybuilding diet often looks like this: chicken and rice, oats, protein powders, and a bunch of pills. Sure, it can hit your protein and calories, but over time, it will also leave you malnourished in key micronutrients and healthy fats that support hormone production and overall health. Check this out. These guys are jacked, yet still have average to low testosterone, and that's just one health marker. There could be many more issues hiding beneath the surface. We're living in an era of people who look good, but aren't truly healthy. So if you want to make fat loss easier, start looking at food for its nutritional value, not just a number on MyFitnessPal. Eat red meat, eggs with the yolks, fruits. Eat nutrient-dense whole foods and watch your body become healthier and look better. And here's one more thing that will make a real difference, especially when you're deep in a deficit and every advantage matters. Tip number 7. I call this carb timing. And no, I'm not talking about choosing to eat carbs at 8 p.m. instead of 9 p.m. I'm talking about placing your carbs around the time your body can actually use them best, your workouts. Before training, carbs act as fuel. They improve energy, strength output, and training performance, allowing you to push harder and get more from the session, especially when you're already on a low-carb, low-calorie diet. After training, your body enters a state where insulin sensitivity is temporarily elevated. In simple terms, your muscles become more receptive to pulling carbohydrates out of the bloodstream and storing them where they're needed most. At the same time, glycogen stores have been partially depleted, creating a stronger demand for incoming carbohydrates to be stored as muscle glycogen rather than sitting unused in circulation. Training also increases blood flow to working muscles and enhances nutrient delivery, meaning glucose, amino acids, and electrolytes can be transported more efficiently into the tissue involved in recovery. This creates a more favorable nutrient partitioning environment, where a greater percentage of the calories and nutrients you eat are directed toward recovery, performance, and rebuilding muscle tissue, rather than just being stored as body fat. So now you understand it. Having an aesthetic physique with a six-pack and 10% body fat is hard, but not impossible. And now you have 7 tips to make your journey easier. You know how to avoid common mistakes, manage hunger and cravings, and how to actually feed your body. That's more information than most people will ever apply. There is one more thing though, something that I have been telling you since the start of this video, and even in my other videos. Something that was right in front of you the whole time. It's not your diet, it's not your cardio, it's not your genetics or your metabolism. It's the fact that every single summer, you tell yourself, this year will be different, and then nothing changes. Because knowing what to do means absolutely nothing if you don't actually commit to doing it. You can have all the tips in the world and the perfect plan, but if you quit the second it gets hard, if you negotiate with yourself every time you're hungry, or every time someone offers you a cheat meal, then none of it matters. So here's the real question. Are you going to let this summer pass like all the others? Another year of I should have, I could have. Or are you finally ready to become the kind of person who actually follows through? Because the physique you want is not going to show up by accident. Your lack of commitment has been costing you your dreams, and you need to shift your mentality in order to become something else, in order to become someone else. The final message here is chase your dream and don't stop no matter what. Discipline and consistency are key. Summer's here. What are you going to do about it?